All right, and in the meantime, we're going to go out to Fox 11's Elex Michaelson, who's going to give us an update on all things happening politically out in California as well. But we want to hear from him first, what's going out there in the Golden State. Alex.
Of course, here in the Golden State, this is the most Democratic state, one of the most Democratic states in the country, historic margins for Donald Trump, for Joe Biden in his fight against Donald Trump. It's the main reason why Joe Biden is ahead in the popular vote as well. But what we're seeing here is, some confusion because there are a lot of folks, especially that live in Southern California, who were anticipating, looking at the polls, that this was just going to be a repudiation of President Trump around the country and that there would be this blue wave or blue tsunami. Of course, that did not happen. We are seeing Republicans incredibly competitive, most likely going to retain control of the United States Senate. We are seeing Republicans picking up House seats, including potentially picking up some key House seats in Southern California, in the Orange County area. I think that's surprising for a lot of folks. And we're seeing some of the more progressive propositions that were on the ballot here in California go down. That being said, the most likely outcome, as you well know, looking at that electoral map at this hour, is that there's a very high possibility that Joe Biden is the next president of the United States. And for a lot of folks in this mostly Democratic state, that is good news and a sigh of relief for a lot of folks here as well.
And Alex, can we kind of just talk about California's neighboring states of Arizona and Nevada, too, because all eyes right now on Clark County, Washoe County there in Reno, Nevada, but also here in Maricopa County in Phoenix, Arizona, ballots are still being counted. The Trump campaign is pretty confident that all these calls for Arizona possibly could go the other way. What are you hearing?
Well, we're also hearing that our network at Fox News are pretty confident that the Trump campaign is wrong about that and that the Fox News desk is standing by its call. The Associated Press, which backed up the Fox News call, is also confident in that call. I think it's also, a testament to one of the stories is the story of the Latino vote in this race and how the Latino vote, we're reminded, is not a monolith. In Florida, President Trump's victory there, largely driven by Cuban Americans, Venezuelan Americans, and other folks there who helped give President Trump the win. But in states like Arizona and Nevada, big turnout from Mexican Americans who do not have the same feeling about President Trump that Cuban Americans do. They are not fans of many of his policies. They voting in large part for Joe Biden. We're also seeing a lot of support for Joe Biden in both Nevada and in Arizona. In suburban communities, some white, educated suburban voters, they're going in large part for Joe Biden. That has helped him out a lot in those communities. When you think of a state like Arizona, Andrew, Arizona has voted Republican state after in election after election. You think about some giants of Arizona politics like John McCain, Barry Goldwater, both of them Republican presidential nominees from Arizona. But in this election, of course, John McCain's widow, Cindy McCain, backing Joe Biden. And you are seeing some of those sort of traditional country club Republicans, the folks that back John McCain in this election, going for Joe Biden. And if Arizona stays that way, if that Fox News projection is correct, and we have every indication to believe that it is correct, that would probably be kind of the death of the Trump campaign. Arizona, the state that could be the major difference in this race.
Yeah, clearly the story last night was Arizona for sure. And the Dem pickup in the Senate. I was reading that Arizona has not had two Democratic senators since Harry Truman was president. Wanted to just touch, if you have some time, on those California ballot measures that I'm talking about, the Uber and Lyft one and the affirmative action one that were roundly rejected. Well, the Uber and Lyft one was not, but the affirmative action was roundly rejected. Can you kind of touch on those And I wanted to talk about all things California's Senate now that it's looking increasingly likely Senator Harris will be possibly the next vice president. So Gavin Newsom has some decisions to make. Is that right?
Okay, so where do you want to begin? Let's begin with the propositions. Proposition 22. This was the most expensive proposition in the history of California. $200 million spent by Uber and Lyft on this. Those rideshare companies did not want their drivers to be categorized as independent as employees. They wanted their drivers to stay as independent contractors. They did not want them to be employees. If they became employees, they would have to pay them a bunch of health care benefits. They didn't want to do that. So they spent all this money to put this proposition. California voters sided with Uber and Lyft, said, yes, we agree with you. They should be independent contractors, not employees. What about affirmative action? You brought that up. That was Proposition 16 on the ballot here. That went down. You know, back in the 90s, affirmative action was outlawed in California. At that time, California's electorate was a lot older and a lot whiter and a lot more conservative. Now it is more diverse. And yet that did not really matter. Affirmative action still going down in California. Now to your point about Kamala Harris, and it may be a bit premature to start having this conversation, but I guarantee you folks in California politics behind the scenes have been having this conversation for a long time. So according to the California Constitution, if Senator Harris becomes Vice President Harris, her seat is open for 2 more years, and one man gets to appoint her successor. That's Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. There is no special election or anything like that. That person would stay in that seat for the remaining 2 years until there's another election, which would be in 2022. So I asked him the day after Kamala Harris was selected as VP if anybody had reached out to him and offered their services to be the senator. And he joked with me at the time, you may be the only person who hasn't. There is a long list. I spoke with the governor again last week at Dodger Stadium. He said he could write a book or a blog or something about all the people who have offered their services and advocated for themselves. There are a lot of people on that list, but there's a lot of big name Californians that I'm sure people around the country know their names. Some of them include Katie Porter, the Democratic Congresswoman who's gotten a lot of attention, Karen Bass, who there was some thought she might be the VP candidate. She's a Democratic Congresswoman. Adam Schiff, who is a congressman, of course, ran the impeachment. And then here in California, some bigger names, Javier Becerra, who's the Attorney General, and Alex Padilla, the Secretary of State. All those people are among the people that are being considered. We know that Gavin Newsom, the governor, likes to make history in his picks. We've never had a Latino or a Latina in that seat. That's one place he could make history. And we've also never had an openly gay person. Robert Garcia, who is the mayor of Long Beach, is both Latino and openly gay. So he's getting a lot of attention as well.
All right, Fox 11's Elex Michaelson, one of the greatest political reporters there in California, breaking all things down there in the state for election 2020. Thanks for being with us, Elex.
Thank you. Thanks for the